Prince Charles has asked the Archbishop of Canterbury, bless him, Justin, to sort of, you know, be the peacemaker between his squabbling sons, and he would quite like Harry to be at the coronation. I'm going to throw this at you, and you're going to tell me I'm talking rubbish. As this continues, with everything that Harry and Meghan have said, written, spoken and vented about, I wake up every day thinking to myself, God, he must have some stuff on the royal family, because I cannot believe they haven't shut him down. They must be terrified of him. Is this going to turn into a free-for-all, this coronation? You know, who can get there and make the biggest moment for themselves? Andrew, who?
You are a father?
I am.
Right. So you understand, despite all the brouhaha and the shouting, that actually blood often invariably, yes, it does, it runs thicker than water.
Yeah.
So Charles is presiding over, or is the centrepiece of a state event, because make no mistake, that's what the coronation is. He's not in full control of this. No. He's going to be wearing the crown, but he's not in control.
No breeches, apparently.
But, no, but a crown. 2, in fact. But he also cares passionately and deeply about his children. He's humane. If anything, he veers too much on the side of, you know, woolly liberal. And he wants to set the right tone. And I believe, and historically, the Archbishop of Canterbury has always tried to guide, often I think erroneously, the monarchy in terms of its relations, both with the church and with themselves. Look at the huge amount of input the Queen got, and Charles got, and Diana got, over their divorce in the 80s and the 90s. Look at the role, I think, erroneously Fisher, who was the Archbishop of Canterbury in the 50s, had over influencing Margaret to dump Townsend and to choose the royal family instead of a divorcee. And finally, the abdication, when old Cosmo Lang couldn't wait to get rid of Edward.
Can I ask you, Emily, do you think that if you know, the branch of happiness is offered and Harry and Meghan sweep into London and everybody gets on the famous foursome of do you think that's it? Or do you think the British public will be waiting for the next explosion? There can't be harmony, isn't there too much? I get what you're saying about a father, but isn't there too much water under the bridge?
No, it's...
Well, Jez, I'm with Tessa with the gorgeous hair on this one. I think that as king, Charles has to rise above everything else. He almost has to be kind of above a human. And that means putting petty family squabbles aside. So, yes, Harry, I know that Harry has been invited. I'm told that Harry has been invited. Whether he comes or not is a different matter. If he holds titles and things like that against, you know, as a gun to Charles's head, you know, you've got to keep my children as, you know, prince and princess, then that might be problematic. But I think for a scene of family unity, they should come. You're right, it's not going to solve things, but it's the first step. And ultimately, I think, you know, these two problems, Prince Andrew and Prince Harry, both the spares, are going to be, how Charles deals with this is going to be, I think, quite a big issue for his reign. We know it's going to be a short reign, and he doesn't want to have either family member.
He doesn't like confrontation. He's a bit of a... No. He doesn't like that, does he?
That's OK. I like the fact that we have a defender of the faith and the head of our hereditary monarchy who doesn't like conflict. I've been drilling more into the detail, though, because we need to make this a global spectacle. It's one that's got to represent the Commonwealth. Yep. Charles and Camilla ain't going to schlep around X number of countries for 6 months like young Philip and Lizzie did back in the day. So I think, what roles are we going to give Meghan and Harry? I thought, and I've been practising the hairdo, perhaps Meghan for a maid of honour coming along behind Camilla. I mean, I think Harry's a little old to be a page, but there could be something that could be done with them. Otherwise, are
you auditioning? That's why you've had your hair done. She's only had it done because she hasn't washed it. Can I ask you the other thing? And I'm really interested in this. The Crown, and I freely admit, the Crown is sort of like this... I absolutely adored it. And when my old man was alive, he thought it was fantastic. Now, there's been some talking over the weekend with Helena Bonham Carter, of course, who played Princess Margaret, Helena... Or I know, I met her on a train, Helena, whatever. Doesn't matter. Mrs. Bonham Carter with the young boyfriend. She says that the Crown, right, should now keep its hands off the last 20 years. It's done enough, it's gone as far as it should done, and it will end up causing problems with the monarchy. Of course, only the problem is that a documentary or is it fiction or whatever? What are your views? Will they continue?
I think it's very tricky. I think that the current series, The Crown, which is being filmed, I think at the moment, or near the end, is obviously covers Diana's death and then goes into the noughties, because we know that they've cast a Kate Middleton who, you know, meets Prince William at university. And I think it finishes mid, like, you know, 04, 05, possibly with Camilla and Charles getting married. I think that's the right time for it to stop. Because, I mean, quite understandably, when, yeah, as you say, you know, when does drama history become drama become, you know, when it comes to the modern day, it becomes a lot more tricky. We've had various recently members of the family's account of their view of history, but of course is only their view. And so usually when you're doing a drama slash documentary, I mean, I know The Crown is drama and a lot of controversy over that. It can take a more holistic point of view, but I mean, even The Crown, a lot of the the main historical advisors on the Crown are Team Diana, one of whom was Diana's former private secretary. So I think that partly explains why the Crown is very kind of pro-Diana.
Tessa, go on.
I cannot believe, Emily, you're such a sellout. You're going with Queen Helena Bonham Carter, who probably thinks she's royal. Oh, I've had my stint. Nobody else can pull up the trapdoor. No, of course, he must absolutely crash into Brexit to Meghan. Interestingly, it's a wonderful political drama as well as a royal drama. And I think the interplay between what's happening in Britain in 2016 on into the royal wedding in 2018 is too good to be true. And
you see, I find myself sort of agreeing with her. Don't shake my hand, woman. It's quite scary. No, stop it. It just changed. The hair's all short, trying to kiss me on air. The point is, Emily, and I get what you're saying, but people are fascinated by the royals, aren't they?